I started working on Swope, my minesweeper roguelike, about 7 months ago. When I posted the announcement trailer back in December, I got tons of positive reception and nice comments, but there were already some suggestions and problems. People had complaints with how the game looked. Some said the UI felt too cramped, and some said the colours looked bad, and a lot of people complained about how similar it looked to Balatro. As Fat Monkey Gaming 3148 so aptly said, that's banala. Since the last video, I've been working on fixing the UI and adding in all the things the game needs to be playable. The first thing to tackle was the colours, because without colours you wouldn't be able to see. The palette I was using got very murky as it got darker or lighter, leading to most of it being useless. So I watched a few YouTube videos to figure out what I was doing wrong. I found that as colours change brightness, you can hue shift them significantly, which basically just means changing the base colour. For example, if we look at this lone swatch, what colour does it look like? Bluey green, teal, turquoise? Well actually, in the context of the palette, it's just dark green. So when making shades, shifting hue into a different colour makes the pixel art look more colourful and just better in general. It makes sense because pixel art is supposed to be cartoony and vibrant. The game Look Outside does this so much if you pay attention. It uses dark blues and purples for almost everything. This way, you get the effect of being in a dark, gloomy environment, and in reality, it's just a room with purple wallpaper and a blue shower. As well as improving the shades, I also found some better base colours that aren't as offensive. No more radioactive lime. Altogether, the new palette looks a lot nicer, although this does mean all the capsule art is now wrong. So I'm either going to have to redo it all, or hire an artist to make some new art, but I was probably going to have to do that at some point anyway. With the colours improved, the next building block that needed work was the font. I got a lot of comments about using the Balatro font, and I mean a lot of comments about using the Balatro font. The thing is, it's not the same font as Balatro, but just because the comments were wrong, doesn't mean they were wrong. If people look at the font and get upset that it's the Balatro font, then that's going to keep happening, so clearly I needed to change it to something much more distinct. I considered drawing another font from scratch, but that's very time consuming, so instead I dug around online and found AJN Windmine by Aiden Font. It's modelled after the distinct typeface of Windows XP Minesweeper. It's Creative Commons, and it's super unique looking, so there's no more getting mistaken for the Balatro font. I've also done a lot of UI menus. The sidebar looks like this now, and it uses 7 segment displays just like the original Minesweeper. I've added drag and drop to the broom bar and ticket trunk, and changed them to only take as much space as they need. The general idea for UI changes was to make sure things are only on screen when necessary, and only take the space they need to fit comfortably. I'm not going to show every new thing in this video, because there's lots of little things. Overall, there's been a lot of progress getting the game ready for others to play it. The big question is, when are other people going to be able to play the game? Well, progress has been slower than expected, and that's for 2 reasons. The first is that I underestimated how long some things take, like how long it takes to draw art for everything, and the time needed to learn things like the Steam API. I've been torn between whether or not I should use a load of placeholders for the art. On one hand, it would mean I can focus on the mechanics sooner, but on the other hand, the art needs to be done eventually. Moving forward, I think I will use more placeholders just so that I can get feedback on the mechanics while the art's still being drawn, rather than have no feedback at all. The second reason is I assumed I would be able to maintain a similar balance between Swope and my work moving into the big 26, and I was very wrong. I've been very busy with university work, especially my FYP, which I put over 200 hours into this year. Not to go on too much of a tangent, but I wanted to do something big for my final year project, so I used multi-agent reinforcement learning to train diplomacy AI. This was a big task, and I kind of realised halfway through how much work had left to be done. So it was either see it through or scrap all my hard work and restart on a smaller project with half my time left. I chose to lock in and put Swope on the back burner. On the bright side, I'm very pleased with how the project turned out. I had to research a lot about how to make machine learn, and after tons of work the machine learned, and the agents were playing real moves. Anyway, alongside that, writing papers and revising for exams, I've had less time to work on Swope than I had originally planned for. With this in mind, I decided to run a playtest instead of going straight into a demo. Steam has a playtest feature that lets you upload a version of the game for testing, and you can control who has access to this through the dashboard. You can use this as a sort of low risk testing ground to get feedback before you release. There are two main reasons for me doing this. Firstly, I recently binge watched all of Blargis' Bloodthief devlog series. They're brilliant videos, but one thing that really stuck out to me is just how much playtesting he did. Often the whole story of a video will be fixing an issue found by the playtesters, and he's always pulling up feedback and statistics to support his point. Also, Slay the Spire 2 came out in early access, and at the time of recording, it's seeing at mostly negative reviews. Now I've played about 15 hours of it, and I think it's really good, but all these negative reviews are in response to a balancing update recently released. And while yes, the game is already the price of a full game, I still find it a bit insane and scary that it's been review bombed so bad for one update that wasn't even that bad. Even if the reviews are just mad about exploits being removed, this kind of thing could taint an indie game's whole life. Slay the Spire 2 will be fine because it's so popular, but if you're not big enough to power through, then a single mistake could trigger a downward spiral of review bombing and sink the game. Maybe I'm being overly paranoid, but I think it's best to make sure that with Swope I hear what the target audience thinks before entering into Nextfest with a demo. It's a trade-off between a longer development time and a better game, and I think it's worth it. So now I'm playtest pilled, and the present plan is start with a closed playtest among me and a few of my friends just to get Steam stuff working, set up fancy analytics, and generally make sure that the game doesn't explode Mac users, or anything like that. After everything works, I'll open up the playtest to the public so that I can start getting widespread feedback and find bugs I couldn't alone. Then, armed with the feedback, I'll improve the game and work towards a demo people will like. I think it should take a month or two to get the playtest up. It's currently the middle of exam season, so hopefully once they're all over, development can finally speed back up a bit. I'm still aiming for the 2026 release, but for a small indie game, participating in the Steam Next Fest is how you get most of your wishlist pre-launch. I don't know if that's going to happen, but if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. I just wait till next year and use the time to listen to more feedback and further improve the game. Overall, despite the slowed progress, I'm very pleased with how the game's turning out. The pieces are all sliding together, and I'm excited to hear what people testing it think soon. But anyway, that's it for this video. Apologies for the 3 months of silence. I was so busy I kind of put the channel on pause, but now I'm back. So I'll probably do another devlog or two before the playtest release. As always, thanks for all the support on my videos and game. It really means a lot to see others as excited about this as I am. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing to help out the channel, and if you still haven't, you can wishlist Swope on Steam. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.